Evening, everybody. Start of a rugby weekend where the trophies are the focus. Six Nations Super Saturday looming tomorrow, but tonight, the first of the club silverware. And no better place to celebrate that than a stuffed full Kingsholm, one of the beating hearts of the club game. So, of course, this has been a week in which Gloucester fans are able to revel in big-name additions to their squad for next season. But for now, they'll be delighted to have their best loosehead prop available. Val Rapava-Ruskin has missed most of this season, but he's back in action, the only change in the pack from that semi-final win. Zach Mercer absolutely on fire that day. He'll lead the charge in the back row once again, we can be sure. Caelan Englefield, hugely impressive at number 9 since arriving from London Irish. George Barton given another shot at 10. Charlie Atkinson cup-tied for the time being. And Ollie Thorley returning on the wing, ruled out of the game against the Chiefs with illness, but ready to tear it up in the cup final. Well, the Tigers can field a World Cup winner at fly half. Andre Pollard, you might remember, used the Prem Cup for a 20-minute cameo back in September that led to his late Springbok World Cup call-up, and the rest is history. He's partnered by Tom Whiteley at half-back tonight, and a raft of experience in that back division. Mike Brown, once again, challenging for a trophy at the age of 38. Up front, former Gloucester man Finn Theobald-Thomas is at hooker, a try-scorer in the semi-final against Ealing. Australian international Sam Carter is at lock, and with Jasper Wiese out of action as he didn't play in the pool stages, Kyle Hatherall is the man wearing number 8 this evening. Both of these clubs, of course, more than familiar with English Cup success, but each of them chasing their first Premiership Rugby Cup in its current guise. Lewis Ludlow, captain of Gloucester, to the left. Hanro Liebenberg skippering the Tigers to the right. Numbers of Leicester supporters here in amongst the Gloucester hordes. The Tigers with a gilt-edged trophy-laden history, but for Gloucester, of course, silverware's proved much harder to come by, which makes this opportunity this evening all the more special for those of a cherry and white persuasion. As for form, pretty hard to gauge really at the moment in amongst the hiatus of the club game, the big gap that has left the Six Nations to centre stage. Both of them had a bit of momentum as the break kicked in. So many of the players, though, better played so little recently, and of course this is going to be a race to get up to speed tonight, just as it'll be a race when the Premiership run-in kicks in.
I think there's a bit of unknown in the coaching staff because they've never had this amount of period before. So I know Leicester have given their players a couple of chances to get away and refresh and recharge the batteries. There's always that concern when they go away that they come back and it takes them a while to get going again. And likewise, Gloucester, how you manage that period of no games is very, very difficult, which is why, despite this being an important game in its own right, towards the end of the season, they will love the coaches having a full-blown, full-house game to get their charges back up for the league campaign. And guess who they're playing next week? They're playing each other.
Yep, familiar foes. Jack Makepeace is our referee this evening, and remember the last couple of finals went to extra time. Exeter and Worcester edging past London Irish on each occasion. Who will lift the first domestic trophy of the season? Gloucester against Leicester in the 2024 Premiership Rugby Cup final. Sent long for the first line out of the game. Caelan Englefield, who has been something of a revelation here, Austin. Came in from London Irish. He's got an enormous boot on him and has really provided something extra for Gloucester. We'll talk about that in a moment as the Tigers put it through their hands for the first time. Dabbed forwards by Whiteley. And a chase on here for Lloyd Evans. Good hustle from Hassel Collins. And Gloucester pinned some 7 or 8 metres out from their try line. First touch for Val Rapava-Ruskin. First appearance since October, such a big part of everything the Cherry and Whites are trying to build.
It's this area of the field where he's been very, very good. His kicking game, it's really good length on the box kicks, and that's an excellent example of, you know, he's in the bottom corner, 5 metres from his line, and he's driven his side 40 metres out. It's worth a lot of money, that, in terms of territory.
As Billy Tweltrees was talking about before the game, Gloucester will want these opportunities early on to challenge Leicester at the set piece. Really good line out here.
Thank you. Well done.
Defensively for Gloucester, they've got a really good scrum as well. They need to start making some inroads into Leicester's ball.
Pollard to Hatherall will be charged with making some important meters this evening, you feel. And a hard line cut by Harry Wells, but the ball dislodged. And Gloucester fans celebrating that error.
I think you're already seeing the early signs of a little bit of rust from both sides. Not everything's on timing. People are just running slightly offline. The passes are dipping a little bit too low. It's only small fractions of improvement that both sides need, but that's what you get when you've had 3 or 4 weeks out. What you also get is if you have the ball in play for the first 5 minutes, we'll need oxygen on the field, because you cannot replicate rugby whatever training you do.
I think it's been a very testing period, because as you mentioned, Ben, very much uncharted territory for the coaches to have to manage a block in the middle of the season in this fashion. That balance between resting and retaining the fitness.
Holidays.
We've all been saying for years we need to look after players and give them breaks mid-season, so let's see if we get the benefit of it over the next few weeks. But there's that first scrum, solid from both sides, big battle between Joe Hayes and Rapava Ruskin. Rapava Ruskin wants it kept in.
I think Zach Mercer was hoping for the penalty potentially. It wasn't coming from Jack Makepeace. And the ball fed out by Lloyd Evans. Cam Jordan on the ball, once of the Leicester Tigers himself, came through the academy.
Definitely a Gloucester ploy there to keep the ball in the scrum, try and win that penalty, get that first psychological win, but probably backfired on them slightly there. Joe Hayes doing a really good job.
All their analysis will have been the Ealing game, where Leicester really struggled in the scrum. One big difference is they didn't have Hayes.
5 scrum penalties conceded that day by the Tigers. Here's Hassel Collins from deep. Hayes on the carry, clawed down by Lewis Ludlow.
Cheers, buddy.
Pollard under some pressure, got it away nicely. Once again, the ball not sticking. Barton has some tidying up to do.
Really good tackle from Bassett to swing the arm into the passing hand, dislodging the ball. Now just trying to recreate a good position here.
Mercer looking to bring that dynamism, the footwork, the skill set that we saw in glorious Technicolor in the semi-final. Englefield's boots. Dug in behind Mike Brown, who anticipates so well and then inexplicably drops the ball.
That's a big mistake, unexpected mistake from him as well. The ball's really slippy, had a lot of rain earlier on. That's a massive bonus for Gloucester. Now they've got prime attacking opportunity. Can go at them in the scrum, but also get the ball out. You don't see him make many of those in the last 30 years that he's been playing.
There's one ground you really want to do that. It's Kingsholm.
Yeah, the only saving grace was that he was on that side of the field and not in closer proximity to the shed.
This is a massive scrum. Get a great view of it here. But Rapava Ruskin knows he was under pressure. If he can now turn it around, win a penalty here, it's a huge psychological swing.
Here we go.
They've been so anxious to get him back on the field. It's his first start in a year, believe it or not. Had knee surgery. Brings so much in the tight and in the loose.
Just before he got injured, his stats were off the charts, weren't they? His work rate around the field, he was forcing his way into that recognition for international.
Yeah, right on the cusp of selection, you feel.
Just got injured at the wrong time, but particularly over the ball, a number of impacts he was having at ruck. Very impressive for a loose head.
Yes, Val, come on.
Kirill Gotovtsev on the other side of the scrum with the tight head. No Fraser Balmain for the time being. He's still injured. Just one of a small group who are on the sidelines at the moment for Gloucester. Adam Hastings amongst them. All there for Englefield. Atkinson to the line, takes the contact and bounces through it. Fantastic effort, bumping through Pollard. Englefield for Gotovtsev. Mercer. Somehow smuggled the ball away effectively to Ludlow. Mercer again. From a standing start, not the easiest of tasks for Rowan Ackerman. Here's Atkinson, and the impressive defending of the Tigers driving the Cherry and Whites backwards here.
All to do with Tigers' line speed at the moment. Able to pressurise Gloucester.
Well back behind the gain line. They're a good, 12 metres behind where they started at that scrum, and so much so that Englefield is eyeing up the corner and he's just overcooked it. So, in the end, much ado about nothing from Gloucester from a very promising platform.
A huge defensive set from the Tigers, but a lot of Gloucester's attack was in and around the breakdown. One pass out, just feel they might need that extra pass.
You've just got to be patient, though, in these scenarios, haven't you? There's still enough players out there to have an attack. There's 4 defenders for Leicester, 6 attackers for Gloucester. Have another go, because Gloucester are the sort of side that once they slip or half slip one tackle and get an offload, they score. They're very good at scoring from those secondary runners, particularly off this guy in the midfield.
Mercer. Barton, little dab forwards over the initial defensive line. Atkinson is onto it. Englefield looking for options. And the first of those is Llewellyn. Quickly recycled. Still the Tigers hold Gloucester defensively, but now the edge found. Mercer accelerates hard, pops it off the deck, and Barton has work to do. Englefield. Oh dear. Ruskin spills the ball, and once again the Tigers' defence is rewarded.
Yeah, the first time Gloucester have actually had some dominance attacking-wise. It's a little chip over the top, it's pre-called, maybe just overruns it slightly, gets away with it, but good pressure in behind, and now they're playing, now they're against a disrupted Leicester line, so you see Leicester can have no line speed at all. That gives them the go forward that they need, the momentum in attack that they need. It's just a poor drop from Barapapa Ruskin that ends it.
The way that Leicester like to defend as well, it's more of a risk for them, because Whiteley likes to blitz out the line, putting pressure on the other side of the defensive line. He hasn't done it yet, we might see it in a few phases time, but that always opens up that shorter kick in behind. Gloucester have done it quite a few times this season as well.
Just one of the weapons, isn't it, that you need up your sleeve to try to beat the blitz. You've got to keep them guessing, take a little bit of the edge off it.
It's actually a really cagey scrum battle. No one's over-committing attacking-wise after that first scrum. All the feet are a long way back from the front row, just making sure they can stay low in a good locked-out position.
Same process, Kate. Same process, Kirill, come on.
That's why Van Beek already bleeding for the cause.
Same shot. Yes, Crouch. Bind. Get to the roof. Set.
Straight down in that front row, the referee wants the ball played. Hatherell from the base.
I'll come round next time.
To trample over the top of Barton, who stands up well in the challenge. Wells now on the carry for Leicester.
Gloucester got to be careful in the phase play there. When Leicester are going nowhere, they're very close to the offside line. It's an easy way to give away 40 metres of territory.
Whiteley to the box kick, and the chase is on. Bassett looking for it. May have come forwards from Lloyd Evans.
Like a pinball machine then.
Picked up by Freddie Clark anyway, and Gloucester looking to build from their own half now.
I think there was at least 3 knock-ons from that kick.
Fawley looking to find a way through here. Mike Brown safely under that one, but he's got Fawley and he's got Barton onto him, and he's driven right back to the 22. Does really well to preserve possession of the ball. This is Hayes now.
Tom. Lewis, timing.
A little bit long on the box kick from Whiteley. Mercer is, for the moment, surrounded. Barton ships it along. Cam Jordan has a job to do up the middle. Barton lying a little deeper. Really good pressure put on by Whiteley, and Pollard in the deep.
Hold!
Barton now, pressure from Hassel-Collins. Brown dodges past one and then accelerates hard beyond the 10-metre line.
Big bodies in the Gloucester defensive line here. Leicester not interested in playing though.
Tom.
A lot of front 5 forwards that could have maybe been exploited, but Leicester in the middle third of the field just playing the percentages.
A lot of box kicking at the moment from the Tigers. Mercer with the dummy. Hassel-Collins not falling for that one.
Get touch, man! Get touch! Too much!
Mike Brown knows what's coming. He and Pollard in the backfield for Leicester. Englefield again does well to get it over the top and force the chase. Oh, a slip from Pollard, and then a slice kick, and there might be options here.
Thank you.
Who wants the ball?
Off his knee.
Mercer wants it.
He's got great ability, hasn't he, to just slip the first tackle all the time, keep the ball alive.
The offload from Rapava Ruskin. Barton beyond halfway. Just trying to get a little bit of traction here. Gloucester, thumping tackle coming in to the midfield, but from an offside position, Josh Bassett came tearing through.
I don't think he had any choice, to be honest. They were really short on numbers, only 2 of them, so he knew he had to stop the play. It's a 3-on-2 call. It's quite close, actually, on first viewing. But he comes out with such speed, it makes it more evident. There he is, right on the far outside. I think he's all right, you know. It's very, very close. It's a good hit.
See what it's given. I think it maybe got himself back onside, but he starts just moving forward before the ball's actually lifted. But it's a theme of Leicester's defence, isn't it, so far? Just trying to get that line speed, stop Gloucester from playing.
Just keep time off
certainly
please.
Doing a bit of a man-marking job on Zach Mercer. Every time he's got the ball,
time on and shot.
Leicester's intensity goes up and they chase him down. Do not want to give him any space at all.
Strangely, the box kicks have been too far so far from Whiteley, so they're not putting pressure on him. They are giving him that opportunity to size up what's in front of him, see where the space is.
Tighter than loose head.
Well, this is going to be an almighty kick for George Barton. 53 metres on the angle, we understand. From 15 metres in from the left.
Tighter than loose head, just tell us what you got on the last one.
I'll have a pound with you that he gets it, Ali. It's been a betting week with Cheltenham, and I've lost basically every single other bet, so may as well continue.
I'm keeping my line, I'm just trying to lock it down. I'm trying to go down.
So I think, I get that, but I think we just aim up. I'll say the same to them. So, yeah, is that okay?
Looks like it has enough distance, but just dropping underneath.
The scrums just aim up
the
for me.
The score remains Gloucester 0, Leicester 0 after quarter of an hour.
So just
double and quits next kick.
Come on!
Such a high roller.
Cheers, John.
run beyond the 10-metre line. Barton to the corner. Just thought for a minute he might have got the angle on that, but it's run all the way through.
Option. Just wonder, Leicester's high line speed in the wider channels there. As he looks up, I'm not sure.
Option.
It's a pre-call. He looks up, knows that Leicester are racing, probably wants to keep that defensive line slightly honest, play in behind them a little bit, but that's the second one.
Come on, mate.
They've wasted really and rolled dead.
They haven't tried to get to the corner yet. You saw with the blitz there. Scott ends up leaving Hassel Collins, so the corner's a long way away for Hassel Collins to get back to. I'd like to see Gloucester try and play a little bit more ball in hand. If that doesn't work, then you can go back to the side and then put the kick in, but it's a little bit more on your terms then.
Yes, Danny. Come on, mate. Yes, Hazy, let's go. Let's go.
Aim up. Both of you aim up.
Let's go. Hips. Twos. Crouch. Bind. 5 foot. Set.
And a scrum penalty. First of the evening.
You've got to stay in. You've got to stay in.
It's gone against Rapava Ruskin.
One, hinge.
Just hinging at the hip.
Let's go.
Pollard is going to... Well, I was going to say aim for the corner, but it's not really the corner, is it?
So on Katosov's side, his feet a long way back, maybe Van Beek slightly attacking. What's happening on this side here?
Whole body.
Yeah, it's that loss, it's the left arm, isn't it? He drops the bind and then folds at the hip.
You got that, John, didn't you?
Perhaps if he holds
for.
that bind slightly longer, it's a bit of a 50-50 call as to who hinges first, but because Rapava Ruskin loses his bind first, an easy decision for the referee and his touch judge.
Ball claimed by Liebenberg. First meaty drive from the Tigers. Theobald Thomas has it. Hooker works himself free and then has to deal with Ollie Thorley, who's marshalling that touchline. Wells leaves it there for Whiteley. Here's Hatherell. Scott. Quicker ball for Whiteley this time, and Brown driven back.
Push.
Whiteley searching for a hole. There it is, all by himself. Oh, surely had to score. Pops it up, and then the ball is reclaimed. And somehow the moment is gone. Max Llewellyn has it for Gloucester. How on earth did Tom Whiteley not score that try?
It's a brilliant break, then he goes the wrong way round a roundabout. He's going to run in a straight line and he scores.
Well, Gloucester's fans will have had their hearts in their mouths. More than that, they surely will have felt that the deal was done.
Oh, this is 7 points, Ali, all over. It's a brilliant break to begin with from him. The way he just bides his time, shows a little pump of the ball, waits for the defender to shift off. Look, Rapava Ruskin steps out, accelerates, run in a straight line, mate, you'll score. In fact, just fall over, you'll score.
Chase him.
What was he doing?
Don't chase him.
It's been such a good Gloucester defensive performance up until that stage, but then just Rapava Ruskin may be slightly wide, but Lewis Ludlow makes those tackles all day long and just falls off it.
Well, what a let-off for the Cherry and Whites. Here is Whiteley again to the line. Pollard bringing in Hassel Collins. 2 men to his outside. Pollard again, just dabs that forwards, and it's reclaimed by Lloyd Evans.
Timing.
And there's just enough bodies in there to make it safe. Here's Mercer. And once again, they'll look to Englefield's boot to give them some sort of relief. It is a huge clearance.
Kick. Brilliant kick. Dan McKellar will be quite happy that Leicester are creating opportunities and chances, but they've really got to start taking them. This isn't a great example, but the one before, the break from Hassel Collins on the outside, he's got 2 guys in the wide channel. He's just got to let the ball go. Here's the original break.
Look of some disbelief potentially on the face of Dan McKellar. In the meantime, they drive forwards through Wells and through Van Fake. Whiteley's box kick hangs. Thorley comes in. Might just have knocked that forwards as he came onto the ball. Regardless, it's in Tigers' hands. And Pollard is finding Scott.
He's got that as a turnover.
First one on his return for Vara Pavaroskin.
Scott goes back inside, doesn't he, when I think Pollard probably wants him to stay on the outside. Leicester have got a few numbers. Liebenberg's given them a bit of momentum with his turnover steal and then leg drive forward, but falls at the one man that you don't want to fall isolated in front of. Just see the speed, how he doesn't commit to the tackle, knows it's going to be made, but gets in the perfect position before Scott's landed. Hands on the ball, easy decision.
Take the edge.
Tough one for him mentally, that, because that's the first one he's been in since his injury. He'll done him in training lots and lots of times, but it's a bit different when you get to the game.
A significant moment, puff of the cheeks. And having given up a scrum penalty, he'd be delighted to be back on level terms, having come up with the jackal. One-handed gather from Ludlow. Mercer to Englefield. Bit of width. Atkinson. Llewellyn screaming through on his outside. Mercer again. Heavily involved in the attempt to get Gloucester on the front foot, as you would expect. Here's Jordan. Punches the gain line. Barton once more to the air. Evans looking for it. Pollard, though, has it in his sights. Calls for the mark.
Again, they could go 2 more phases there. They've gone 3 phases. They've obviously got it pre-called. 3 phases. If we don't make the gain line, we're going to kick. But just stand up, have a look, just see who's in front of you. Is there a prop on in front of you? Has somebody got a bit of a limp? Somebody not quite in the right alignment? Don't automatically go to the 3rd phase kick option as a 9 or 10. And these are very inexperienced 9 or 10s. And that's the difference, really, between the 2 sides at the minute.
And it's the reason that Gloucester have been recruiting.
Yeah.
Gareth Anscombe, Charlie Atkinson, and they will be leading the charge, you suspect, next season. George Barton, very promising, but still with so much to learn right at the top echelon, and he's got lots of good game time behind him this season, which is invaluable, of course. Mercer to the ground again. Englefield sticks this one up in the air. Not quite the distance that he would have been after, but it's reclaimed, is it?
Straight out the breakdown. 3, you come straight out the breakdown.
Shouted at Gassosov as soon as he got up
Always
to
advancing.
not go forward, but
Told him 3 times.
because the bomb's dropping a little bit shorter than planned.
Okay.
Starts that lazy jog towards it and stays within that 10-metre circle around the ball.
And Tigers are going to go for posts.
Yeah.
And Pollard keen for
No. I take your point.
just a couple of extra centimetres, maybe.
Just watch the breakdown. The guys at the front just start going forward, and because the kick's not long enough to put him onside and be 10 metres far enough away from him, it's just a really dumb penalty, isn't it? But not just him, maybe a couple of the players alongside him. The scrum half needs to be warning him.
So first chance of Tigers points. Leicester open their accounts through their 2-time World Cup winner. First points of the final, 25 minutes in. Leicester lead Gloucester by 3.
Didn't scrape over the bar either, did it? Plenty extra in that kick for Pollard, which is always a threat when it brings home the reality of the players you're playing against. You just have to be a little bit more cautious on where you compete at the breakdown, knowing that anything within range, anything within your own half is almost a
Always
gimme.
part of the tackle. Always part of the tackle.
We'll have a word with George Skivington in a moment or two.
Timing push. Sorry, mate.
Evans waits. Takes the contact, full-blooded contact from Hassel Collins.
There's a chance sideways. If you look at the defensive line now, there's loads of space in behind. There's a big gap between Leicester's back three and that front defensive line. So little kicks rather than high kicks probably get you more ground and more options.
Brown floored by, well, not actually floored by Barton. He stayed on his feet so well.
Brilliant from Brown to stay up long enough for the cavalry to arrive, but also to drive through that contact. 2-3 players on him.
And that's half the problem, Ben, isn't it? Leicester's back three are very good at receiving box kicks if they're slightly too long, so Gloucester aren't getting any of those secondary rucks.
Once again, Evans enveloped by Hassel Collins. Rapava Ruskin met well by Sam Carter this time. And a familiar pattern emerging here. Box kick to box kick through the middle third. This one drifting well long. Loads of time for Mike Brown. So let's bring in George Skivington. George, we've been talking about the kick strategy. What's your take on how Gloucester are going about that particular part of the game? Are you happy with the process and the way they're executing?
I think they've taken the right options. I think Caelan and George have had a couple of opportunities to put it in behind Leicester. Probably the execution hasn't been good enough. We've kicked a couple dead, and allowed Leicester to get away from their 22 a bit too easily. But I'm pretty happy with their selection. We've got to execute, and we've got to take advantage of some of the pressure that we have created in the game.
Yeah, you've been building good pressure. You've been building good possession and territory also, haven't you? That must encourage you at least.
Yeah, I think we're in the right part of the pitch for the most part, but we haven't come away with anything yet. So I think there's been a couple of opportunities which we haven't taken. Say a little bit of execution, maybe a little bit of early nerves out there as well, to be honest, with one or two. But I think as we're growing into the game, the boys are taking the right options. But obviously Leicester, a very disciplined team, and as we saw there, you give them one penalty in the middle of the pitch and they're 3 points up.
Little heart in mouth moment with Tom Whiteley.
What was that one?
That's the other end.
That's exactly what I'm talking about there. Oh, right, sorry, yes. Yeah. That was exciting, wasn't it?
Thanks for your time, George. Appreciate it. Exciting. It was definitely exciting if you were of a Leicester persuasion, but it was the one gilt-edged chance of this final to this point.
That's right there with that accuracy. Look at that kick, just to put pressure on Leicester down, and then it rolls through. Third one they've done, and look, Leicester have prime attacking scrum, left hand side, 10 metres inside the half.
See if they're setting up to play the similar plays they did before. Look at Hassel Collins, who's directly in behind Pollard. Now just dropping back to the short side a little bit. Might just appear on his shoulder as they get to the corner, and the two centres tight. Go for another scrum.
Free kick awarded, and it's all gone very quiet at Kingsholm, hasn't it? Leicester, if they've done nothing else, they have drawn the sting from the Cherry and Whites early on. 62% possession for Gloucester in the opening half hour. And the bite and the edge that was there right at the outset from these Gloucester supporters just seems to diminish for the moment.
Time off. No, mate, last time. Let's go. Timed off. Last time.
Come on, Hazy, mate. Ronnie, let's go. Hazy. Come on. Stay there, bud. Stay there. Let's go, Hazy. Seconds.
I'll take that as 10, Eric.
Come on, Baz.
Time on.
Yeah.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
2, 3, please. And now, Hazy. Go, Hazy.
Solid from Leicester, better than that. It's drawn a penalty.
Tight head.
Once again, very much within the Pollard range.
Gets probably pincered. Kotostov from Van Veek on the outside.
Here's mate.
Good old Thomas on at hooker, driving straight, but Van Veek really gets an angle and forward on him.
Just gave up, Harry.
Well, the momentum...
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Very much behind the Tigers now,
John,
off the back of this.
I was struggling to hear when you... What was in the problem in the 22? So, yeah, you're not being 10. Ah, OK. Yeah, everyone's... Yeah, just straight across the scrum, so he's just lost the contest and gone in.
Universal language of prop.
Yeah.
The head shake and the confused look. Pollard clips it on his way, turns quickly, he likes it, Leicester like it, and they double their lead.
It's just ridiculous, isn't it? The way he just gets up to the ball, no nonsense, slots it from a difficult angle, 45, 46 metres. And from nothing really, Leicester 6 up.
Very well grooved. Of course, a man who's undone Gloucester before now, 18 points to his gun in the win over the Cherry Whites in November for Andre Pollard. Whiteley's got it all wrong, he's got right underneath it, and it's going to fall for Jordan. Evans brings Mercer into the equation. Again, smothered. Good tackle made by Rogerson. Barton to Ackerman. Just stymieing the Gloucester threat, bang on that gain line every time. Barton chased down by Whiteley.
It's Whiteley's thing, isn't it? Austin was talking about it before. Loves to jump the gun and get out, chase down the 10 and force him into a decision he doesn't want to make.
It's a head injury there.
He's staying down as well.
Driven back, aren't they? Each time.
Time off.
George Barton requiring a little moment here, but the problems for the Gloucester carriers at the moment writ large, Ben, it's clear they're having trouble puncturing that line.
Whiteley stands a long way back and then just gambles and comes. He's there, chases the man down.
Is the hit on him okay?
Just having a little look. He does sudden dip down, doesn't he? He can't be more bent at the waist, Rogerson.
Yeah.
Okay, Jack,
that's just a rugby
there's
instant.
no foul play. He's bent to the hips. He does make head contact, but he's in a legal tackling position, so no foul play.
Perfect, mate. And the attacking player's dipped at the last minute, hasn't he? To get to that position.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So you would think the likely outcome here is a head injury assessment for Barton, which will throw things a little bit for Gloucester. No 10 on the bench. Presumably Lloyd Evans would step in there.
Well, just looking back at this phase of play, it tells you everything. I know he's a young guy, but there's some experience in that coaching staff. Look when they throw the ball, look how deep he is. We just stop it there. Look at the defensive structure of Leicester versus the attacking opportunities of Gloucester. If he moves forward 5 metres, yes, Whiteley's right in his face, but all he does is he tips the ball on. And you invite the defence onto you. Sometimes if you're worried about a blitz defence, it ends up pushing you further and further back. And that is to the detriment of the attacking play of your side. What he's got to do is actually stand up there, bring it on to him, say, come and get me, because that creates the dogleg.
And it will be a 10-minute period in which he's assessed for that head injury, George Barton. So the change has involved Lloyd Evans stepping up.
Yeah, he's played plenty at 10, Lloyd Evans.
Plenty at 10. Josh Hathaway's come on to the field as well, a youngster who scored a try against Exeter in the semi-final. He's got some wicked footwork and he's very, very quick. Very excited about Josh Hathaway in these parts.
Bind! Yes, set! 1, 2, 3, squeeze!
It's the same again, isn't it?
What have we got, Harry?
Crowd getting restless.
This time for Costa, he's trying to change his position, so this time he ends up hinging a little bit. But he doesn't want to give away the same offence as he did last time when he got caught.
Not a pre-contest. Let's go again.
Come on. Here we go.
7 minutes of this first half remaining. You just feel Gloucester need to give this crowd something to hold on to, because Leicester have them where they want them at the moment.
Referee's come to this side to have a look for himself.
Strangely, both props behave this time.
Hurl at first receiver. Atkinson. Evans, again well caught. Good job again from Whiteley defensively. Gloucester with an advantage. Mercer. The ball.
Off feet, slowing the ball.
Great defence, Ali, from Whiteley.
He slowed the ball.
He makes up a lot of ground. We often see sides run this play and get it out the back, and then they get to the corner. But you watch him there, the black shirt, he's miles away. But he gets to Lloyd Evans, puts that tackle in, because if that goes wide to the outside, Thorley's in a lot of space. Very good defence. Doesn't know where the try line is. He knows where defenders are. Attackers are.
That's a really good kick from a Gloucester perspective now. Takes it into the real danger zone for Leicester. Although you wouldn't expect Gloucester to drive it all the way over from 10 metres, Leicester have to commit numbers and stop that drive, which opens other stuff up. Just be interesting where Zach Mercer stands, whether they put him right at the front as that Peel runner to come. Now he's gone into a normal lift to jumper position.
Volume levels rising, and Freddie Clark also, but he spilt the ball. Was that a little knock on? I don't think it was, because Rogerson has gathered it in, and the Tigers are off the hook. Just when they needed the line-out routine to function in a slick fashion.
Let's go.
There to be one. Thorley chasing hard after this, but
50-22.
Some smart footwork from Pollard. Hathaway, awkward bounce on it. Oh, and he's knocked it on as well, and here come Leicester.
See if he got the ball, slide it on the floor and then plays it.
Just about to say, good tactic from Andre Pollard, because he slides, which puts Hathaway off. But the fact that he plays it and he's on the floor and he's made the decision to go down himself.
It's not on my side, so I'll have a look. Yeah.
So it's picked up, and then the hand
sliding off feet
strips it as he slides through.
Yeah. It was a viciously bouncing ball, wasn't it?
Say that was brilliantly well spotted by the referee.
Yeah, it was a smart call. And Gloucester once again pumped the ball back down inside opposition territory.
He's off his feet and he's not loose when he gets there, so he can't play it off the person.
Referee just explaining, if the ball had still been loose, he would have been fine to pick it up and play. But because it had been lifted by Hathaway, you can't then strip it out because you're off your feet, and when you're off your feet in rugby, you're out of the game.
George McGuigan sizes up the options. Just beyond the 10-metre line here. Ludlow goes up. It's there for Englefield. Evans feeds Ackerman. Now a much more powerful surge. Englefield caught in two minds. Mercer once again tackled well by Whiteley, who's performing miracles in defence. Absolutely everywhere at the moment. Ackerman again. Evans lying deep and taking quite a long time. Whiteley is intent on hunting this down from everywhere. Hassel-Collins did so well. Pollard dragged into touch by Ludlow.
It's good defensive eventually from Gloucester, but I keep saying it, they don't need to kick on that phase, because Leicester's defence is now split in the midfield. They've got a short side, 2 or 3 defenders. They've got guys who can blitz on the open side, so you can mix it up and you can still go 2 more phases there. And if you do get knocked back, so what? But at least you've had a go. If you kick automatically on the 3rd phase, you're just negating all of your attacking play.
It's also becoming very predictable.
It is, but I think Evans there was actually surprised by the speed of the ball. I think he wanted a fraction of a second to settle, and Englefield needs to be aware he's not playing with his starting 10.
This is more like it. Sorry, Ben. This is more like it from Gloucester. They've got a penalty. Tigers have dragged them all down. Atkinson for Evans. Bit of a mix-up in the midfield. Here comes Hathaway. Dangerous in broken field for sure. Still playing with an advantage. Mercer spills the ball forwards, and back we come for the penalty.
You mentioned the predictability of the kicking game. Leicester have done their homework on Gloucester and realised how important the run-around play is. So the ball hits 12 initially and 10 runs round. Leicester are targeting the 10 in behind, so we already saw Whiteley do it. On the last line out, we saw Theobald Thomas come round and catch Evans. They are flying up, trying to catch the 10. Gloucester need to realise that, hold on to it, and they might find there's no one in front of them.
Evans, yeah, he's tucked that in really nicely, Lloyd Evans. So within 5. Now then, can they find the line out? Less than 90 seconds to half-time. Just the moment to strike. Crowd in behind them. McGuigan to Clark. And it looks much more promising from here for Gloucester. McGuigan has it. In comes Llewellyn.
Split the scene.
And they move quietly, very slowly forwards. And another infringement from Leicester.
Hits a leg up.
That's gone against Matt Rogerson.
Good setup.
Andrew.
They were under a bit of pressure. Clark had to reach one-handed, and it put massive pressure on him on the transfer of the ball, which is what happened at the line out on the other side.
You're coming into the line.
You've got the penalty.
Just
Where you are.
a little bit of referee liaison work from Valrapava Ruskin there, just saying make sure they don't crack our bind. But they're not going to go for the line out. Mercer's going to play.
He leaves it for McGuigan, who feeds Mercer, who in turn I think feeds Ackerman, who's there, and he's not too far away. Englefield, Mercer trying to use the feet. Rapava Ruskin. Fully hugging the left-hand touchline. Another penalty given up by the Tigers.
No release too.
Mercer again with another wild dummy. And these infringements all adding up to a sin binning. Finn Theobald Thomas to the bin.
Yeah, you got a sense it must have been pretty cynical on the floor because there was no warning before it. He's taken effect of the cumulative nature of those 3 penalties in quick succession.
And after a lot of huff and puff, they're going to take 3, Gloucester. Certain members of the crowd not overly impressed by that decision, given the pressure that the Tigers were under. The man just dispatched. Points at a premium tonight. Evans notches 3. Gloucester are on the board finally. And Leicester lead at half-time in the final by 6 points to 3. George Barton is back with us. He's passed his head injury assessment, so good to go again at fly half. So Josh Hathaway takes his leave for the time being. Lloyd Evans reverts to 15. And of course, the Tigers dealing with their 14 men, Ben, on account of their hooker being sent to the sin bin right at the end of that first half.
Yeah, big 10 minutes for Leicester to survive. Be interesting whether Gloucester feel that they'd like a scrum early on or a line out early on to try and get another man on the field.
Time on.
I think we're just about ready to go. And George Barton will launch us up to that Tigers 22. We'll have a word with the Leicester Director of Rugby, Dan McKellar, in just a moment as we see how they deal with this exit. Whiteley sizing up another box kick. Hangs very nicely. Hassel Collins not too far away, but it's well claimed. And Barton goes down the middle. Pollard. Brought down well by Englefield, just beyond the 10-metre line. Whiteley to get the Tigers into their patterns.
Too long. You hit the floor first.
Hoping to challenge
hit
for the ball.
First, I agree.
Driven out of action by Harry Wells. This one a little shorter from Whiteley. That may well have gone forwards. Tigers on the attack, and Pollard looking for some territory here. And Ollie Thorley calls for the mark. Let's speak with Dan McKellar. Dan, thank you so much for sparing the time. Just give us a brief outline of your messages, particularly given you're down a man.
Yeah, we just got to be smart in and around set piece. Ideally, we avoid set piece for the next 7 or 8 minutes, but we've got a plan in and around that. And overall message was we just got to stay on the arm wrestle. Defence is very good. Our opportunity will come off the back of our defence and our kicking game, but we just got to be patient and not get bored with it.
You've had a great deal of success shutting down the Gloucester attack, haven't you? Has that been a big old focus this week? You seem to be reading everything they're doing.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's, they're a side that likes to use the ball, and they'll challenge you from edge to edge, so we need to make sure that we're really smart in their decisions defensively, but most importantly physical.
Thanks so much for your time, Dan. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Keen to avoid the set piece, quite obviously, for the moment. The Tigers. Englefield's kick, picking out Pollard, and Hassel Collins sensing a small little opportunity. Lightly waits, 3 men in the backfield for Gloucester. Joe Hayes on the carry, shut down by Mercer.
Let's go, Tom.
Evans having to perform multiple duties this evening.
Ball's out.
Ackerman looks to go round Rogerson.
That's another really good example, Ali. Once Ackerman gets to the outside of those first 3 defenders, you can go another phase, you can go wide, and if you do that, you make all the Leicester forwards run an extra 20 metres for no reason. At the minute, neither side's sapping the energy out of the opposition pack, so that's why the game's stagnating and the defences are on top.
Feels that way for sure. Vake goes to ground for Leicester. Neither side at the moment remotely interested in playing any rugby in the middle third. Bit too long, that one from Whiteley, but a really good chase from Bassett. Turns it in to a tricky one for Anglefield, who does well.
Jamal Ford-Robinson might want to recycle this.
I was hoping he might try his hand. Ford-Robinson on for Kirill Gotovtsev. Brown. Tip on from Van Vake, and Tigers on the front foot now. Again, Pollard lying quite deep and still favouring the boot. Well taken by Evans. Ackerman. No! The ball loose there for a moment.
No, it's gone straight through the gate.
I've done quite a lot of finals in this job, and this so far quite comfortably is the worst one I've ever seen.
Pushback. Plenty of meat left on the bone, Austin.
Let's hope so, because I'm starving.
Well, I think there's a growing frustration all around Kingsholm, really, that not only have Gloucester failed to properly fire a shot in attack, but the offering from each side in the middle of the park is devoid of any creativity whatsoever.
As Benny said in the first half, it's really evident that Leicester understand Gloucester's attacking plays out the back, and they're going to try and shut that down either on the outside, on the corner, or by chasing the 10 around. So you just change it up. You just double load the midfield, then they can't shift on you, and you've got 2 big ball-carrying centres in red and white tonight. Give them the opportunity right on the gain line, see if you can get in behind, then you get an Ackerman or anybody around the corner, and you're back into just normal, simple rugby, but go forward rugby through phases.
Kick. Really not seen Atkinson and Llewellyn punching through the middle at all, have we? Perhaps we will see that now. Barton to the line, this is more like it, potentially. Thorley off his wing to within sight of the 22. Englefield. Mercer now, exploding it to space and getting the ball away. Barton is there to gather it in within 5 metres, and the Cherry and Whites with a penalty advantage now. Ackerman at high speed, carried on by Thorley. Still they keep it tight. Jordan wrestling his way to the line. And Ford Robinson is not far away. And that might need checking.
I think he's either spilt it or he's got it down before he spilt it.
That's a try, it's on the floor. It's a try.
Right, Dan, I'm just coming to you. So I've got no try on field. I think as they place the ball, it's actually lost into a Leicester player's hands as it goes over the line. They've actually grounded it over the field. No try. I think they've got the ball before it goes over the line. So yellow card if we go back.
So on field is no try. We have to check it.
Are they going back for the yellow card? Did I just hear?
Yes. We need to check the grounding here for starters. Ford Robinson at this point has the ball. And that angle's not going to help us. This one might.
This is your angle if he box it down, Dan.
Close. I don't know whether you can see the ball grounded. Whether it's over the line. This might be the one.
It's not conclusive, is it? That's the problem.
No, and no one's closer to it than the referee.
Just check this one more time. At the moment, I've got no clear groundings.
Yeah.
Just gets rolled.
Yeah,
just as he's going to place it, doesn't it?
Yeah, go on, eh?
Yeah, I've got nothing to overrule your on-field
There's
decision.
no try, but we're going back for the penalty, and Mike Brown goes to the bin.
Mike Brown, a yellow card, and the Tigers down to 13 men.
Off feet.
Gloucester, you've got to play.
Yeah.
Best bit of passage of play by Gloucester, all because they had that one extra pass. Really good from Freddie Clark to release Zach Mercer, who's going to go again now.
Jerry and White's badly needing to strike here. McGuigan to Mercer. Oh, it's very messy indeed. And the Tigers survive thanks to a super clumsy passage from Gloucester.
Why would you do that? I mean, you put him under so much pressure from someone who's not used to passing the ball off the floor. It's a stupid play. You've got McGuigan who's, he's a good rugby player, but he's not a 9, distribute the ball 6 metres. All it allows is a defensive line to line him up and come out and smash him. Yeah. It is a stupid play.
Yeah, the pass was kind of at Mercer's head, wasn't it, which accounted for the fumble.
But if you watch the Leicester's defence, nobody moves, nobody's shocked by it.
That move's been brought in because teams were doing the hooker tapping and going. So, but if you're doing it every time, there's no element of surprise.
Well, we've got a scrum, obviously, which requires a hooker, and that hooker will be Archie Vaines, with Finn Theobald-Thomas in the bin currently. So Matt Rogerson is the man who's been sacrificed from the Tiger scrum to allow for Vaines to arrive.
This is the good bit of play from Gloucester I was just talking about. The timing of this from Freddie Clark. We've seen so many times that player just carry into contact, but with Mercer coming around on the loop, look at the numbers that are in behind the ball. That's the slight one pass extra width Gloucester need to be playing with.
Just an element of panic.
I'm only smiling, mate.
What I don't get about that, it's obviously something they've worked on the training ground. Why doesn't Zach Mercer go, I don't like that play, because I get the ball with 3 defenders, really big, running at him really fast, and it hurts. Why don't I tap it, beat someone with some footwork and score?
Bind!
Just get to Andre's foot.
Set!
Big powerful shot here from Gloucester. Tigers in trouble. Gloucester penalty. And off goes Anglefield. And here goes Sam Atkinson for the score. Finally, Gloucester have something to show for this Premiership Rugby Cup final. It's taken them 47 minutes and 2 Leicester sin binnings, but Seb Atkinson has broken the deadlock.
Well, they've set that up perfectly, Gloucester. Initially with the scrum, they've gone for the penalty, gone all out for the penalty, and then as soon as it's given Englefield alert, he knows he's got to tap quickly because Leicester have just got no width at all. Atkinson sweeps round to create an extra body and realises he's got the power to go in if he stays low. And the Hassel-Collins doesn't want to come forward. He's really worried about being beaten on the outside, but when you're 2 men down, You have to shut the door.
Yeah, it's clever play from Englefield. He has a little look up at the corner of his eye, counts the defenders and thinks, right, I'll back myself, let's go.
That's two. Gloucester into double figures. And still with a two-man advantage for a short moment at least. Seb Atkinson with the first try of the game.
See Hassel Collins, he just has that hesitation of, I've got so many things to mark, and he ends up doing nothing because he's trying to make the right decision.
Someone's handled the ball in the scrum.
But really smart from Gloucester. Credit to the scrum for winning that penalty. Yes, Leicester are short of two players, but having won the penalty, everyone on the same page to sweep round, and Englefield really quick with his reactions.
Englefields kick is, for a moment, I thought he was going to land in no man's land. Whiteley is there forwards from Liebenberg. Ludlow flings it out to Ackerman. It's really breaking up here, and it's going to sit. It's going to sit beautifully, and away goes Llewellyn. Space on the outside. Lloyd Evans running right, chips over the top. And in comes Pollard to restore some sort of calm to proceedings for the Tigers. Huge counter-up from Gloucester. They've won it back. McGuigan carries hard. Tigers all over the place. Englefield. Clark. Huge ball to Thorley. Drives for the line and is shut down. Mercer now. It's all Gloucester. Suddenly they've woken up. Jordan pops it onwards, and the forwards move through the pick and go routine. Clark is waiting. Ludlow has it. Tigers folding back into their defensive positions. Clark enveloped. Just need patience and a clinical execution. They do have a penalty advantage. Leicester pinged for not rolling away, and McGuigan just rumbles closer. Here's Jordan again, spiralling and scoring. 2 tries in 3 minutes, and the Cherry and Whites take a grip on the final.
Well, 2 big moments from the Gloucester second rows. Cam Jordan, the man to go over, former Leicester man. And he's a really powerful runner.
What a pass from Clark though, Ben. I mean, this is sensational. Really good play from Gloucester, but that ball over the top from the second row. You think Thorley actually is going to go to the outside. Good defence from Leicester to stop him there, but they go through 3 more phases. This is a really good pickup. In a lot of traffic, low body position, has the spin and the power to get to the line. That's a really good score from Gloucester.
Strength, but it's also the awareness of how to use it. That's Harry Wells and Liebenberg, 2 of Leicester's most physical players, but he uses that pirouette and the leg drive to get himself over the line. But as you said, Austin, that pass from Clark creating all sorts of problems in the Leicester defence.
Very composed from the tee, George Barton. And a totally different complexion on this fixture now. Gloucester leading by 17 points to 6. And Cam Jordan, the man who captained Leicester at age group level, driving a knife into Tigers supporters' hearts.
Look at that pass, great angle to see it from as well.
Quality from the 2 locks.
We've stopped the clock. We've stopped the clock.
And a whole lot of passion.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
So Matt Rogerson is back on the field.
Okay. Yeah.
Meaning that Finn Theobald-Thomas has been restored to the lineup. Leicester now at 14 men, and this ball has been claimed by Llewellyn. He's got help on the outside from Clark. Back to Llewellyn. Was that forwards? What has happened to Leicester's defence over the last 5 minutes?
Ignore Thorley. I mean, he's only the fastest player on the pitch.
The ball on the outside was surely the only option.
Whiteley butchered his in the first half. Well, we've seen one great pass, but Leicester's chase, it just parts, doesn't it? No one there. Right. Sam Carter
Let's go.
All he needs to allow Haler there, doesn't he?
Well, it's a very tough position to be in, isn't it? The winger screaming and screaming and screaming for it. Well, it's one each on that front tonight. But the place is alive again. I think it's creeping up the rankings, this cup final now.
Yeah, it is now, yeah. It's come alive, like you said. But they score that, and they go to 24-6. It's a long way back for Leicester.
Okay. Let's go again.
Let's go, Finn. Let's go, Finn, lad.
Tight, no
Food for thought in that camp.
It's hard to make one, mate.
Just had every base covered in the first 40 minutes. And their defence in this little lapse has been all over the shop.
Gloucester have been better in the second half, but the yellow cards have really affected Leicester, haven't they? Clearly it does with a man advantage, but it's almost been an element of panic, maybe because they've been so secure in flooding the Gloucester attack. Now you haven't got the numbers to do that. Can they go to a more passive approach defensively? And the answer's been no so far.
And Gloucester's pack is coming alive here at Kingsholm tonight. It's been a really, really slow burn. But the cherry and white 8 is now beginning to function at full throttle.
It's a really good initial step forward from Ford Robinson, isn't it?
Thank you, mate.
Gets his man going back, and then once you've done that, you can get away with stepping outside because you've got all the power. You're dominant. Hayes, not much of an argument from him.
They're just taking control of the red zones at the minute, aren't they, Gloucester? 7 visits now for 17 points. This could be another 3. Leicester have only had one visit into Gloucester's red zone. No points.
Huh? Need it in the air first, though, eh?
George Barton. Three more. Gloucester lead by 20 points to 6. 25 odd minutes to go. Tigers still down a man. And the shed beginning to bounce.
Just looking at Englefield, he looks like he's really struggling with something in his stomach. He's a good player, his kicking game's going well, but Chapman on the bench is not a bad 9. I always think with your 9 in these sorts of scenarios, if he's carrying something, be able to tell now from his first box kick, if he cringes, take him straight off.
Great steal from Liebenberg. That's a huge penalty. You felt that next score was crucial. If Gloucester got the next score, the game was probably done, but just as a psychological foothold in the game, Leicester will put this into the corner with Pollard, but they have to come away with something from this visit to the red zone, you'd think.
Changes deployed by Dan McKellar. Off comes Dan Kelly, on comes Phil Thockner-Singer.
Straight into the line out for Thockner-Singer, who's been sent there. Front of the line out.
He's going to lend his way to this drive now for the Tigers.
In the 5.
Badly needs something back after a bad spell. They have been restored to 15 men though. And Theobald Thomas is waiting.
That's a yellow card. That's a clear yellow card.
Swing in.
I thought it had gone against Englefield for stopping him, but I think Leicester are going to the line there if he doesn't step in and come in at the side.
Get the third guy.
Leicester get the switch around here. Watch Thockner-Singer on the outside. He's got a clear walk in. Englefield just goes past him and goes straight for the ball.
Another opportunity. Again, Thockner-Singer lurks at the front. And Theobald Thomas goes to the tail and Hatherall. And Gloucester might struggle to hold this. They've done well in the first instance. It looks like they want to smuggle it backwards. McGuigan works it there for Englefield, and Gloucester have done a terrific job there. Here's Mercer. It's not quite completed yet.
They've got an advantage as well.
Come on, knock-on advantage.
Oh, it's just the knock-on. Just the knock-on.
Gents, not now. No! Let go of each other. Stop it. Stop it.
Englefield via the hand of Harry Wells.
Take the line out.
Not a whole lot in that.
Just calm down. That's why I've stopped the game. It's just a line out.
So that's interesting. They've given the line out to Tigers. It looked very much as if Harry Wells got a hand on that clearance.
Holding on to 2 black, and then he went in afterwards. Nothing more than.
Just play on, mate. Thank you.
They're still down here, Leicester. They still need some points, you'd think.
7. Off you go.
Just at the 3/4 stage of the game.
We'll have a bad moment. Let's just let go of him next time.
Off comes Matt Rogerson and Ollie Cracknell on in his place. Wells, the delivery wasn't quite there for Whiteley. Tricky one for Singer, who runs into a brick wall. A little more urgency though from the Tigers. Hatherall. Whiteley, the delayed pass. Has the ball been spilled? It has. And Gloucester profiting from some aggressive defending.
Good defence. Matotta just steps back to the inside and spots him coming late. Just watch. It's a messy line out for Leicester, but then they set up. Watch Scott. He just picks his line after this phase, not this one, the one after. Might say it in a minute. No, I won't.
Well, the excellence of the defending from Seb Atkinson particularly. Low and straight and very well balanced, and providing Gloucester with the ball ultimately into the final quarter of this Premiership Rugby Cup final.
Just hope Gloucester don't go into their shells now and try and protect this lead. Obviously you want to protect it to win, but sometimes if you do that you lose the way you've been playing that's serving you so well.
Great pass from the base from Mercer.
Ball stripped by the Tigers.
No release, he's on his knee.
No release goes against Leicester. A familiar theme of this second period. They have not found favour with Jack Makepeace.
Pass from Mercer's really good as Englefield breaks to the right to hold the defenders. The width to get around those first 2 defenders. Englefield goes to the right, points, distracts Leicester. That's a lovely ball.
He's got the ball.
And then they've got a 3-man sweep round that corner. Just Whiteley's pace to get there. And then Scott feel very aggrieved at that decision.
Yeah, a bit harsh. It's almost instantaneous, wasn't it? He started the rip before his knee was down.
Gloucester on the 22. Mercer again, centre of attention. McGuigan on the drive. Gloucester with a penalty advantage from an infringement of the line out. Still, that body of cherry and white shirts moves forward, and there's the shrill blast on the whistle.
First one, then he's pulled him off his feet. Yes, the keep his over there. He's pulled him up, and he's also offside. He's pulled him. I know.
Now, do they go for broke, or do they take the 3?
I think just take the 3.
Accumulation at this point.
Take the 3. You take it outside 2 scores. Take it to 17. Applies more pressure. There's no bonus points today.
I think you both get low. Just need the elbow a bit further up, and that's fine. So I think on the last scrum, they've both gone low with binds. They've both gone low, so it's just they're shuffling for it because they can't get them before.
squeezes wide. So the Tigers remain within 2 converted tries for the time being. First miss for George Barton. And a change at fullback for Leicester. Mike Brown off, Jamie Shilcock coming on.
Time on.
Barton drives this down the middle. Big old chase on from Atkinson, who is intent on charging that down. Did a really good job. Comes back to make the tackle. Wholehearted commitment from Seb Atkinson. And the Tigers pinned in their 22 as a consequence, and they've lost the ball. Once again, the counter-ruck. Ackerman. Clark now. Held by Carter. Anglefield to Jordan, one of the try scorers tonight. Kingsholm in full cry.
Yes, no arms tackle by Leicester.
Okay, mate, on that last
and a penalty given up for no arms tackle. The voice of our TMO, Dan Jones. Atkinson, little grubber through, the pathway blocked for Llewellyn.
No arms.
And this one, right in front of the post.
Tigers are on the ropes, aren't they, Gloucester, with another counter-ruck.
It was by the second row with the scrum out for him.
Leicester pride themselves a little bit on their accuracy at breakdown time, but again Gloucester getting the pressure, and that momentum just all comes in a wave of red and white shirts. There's the initial counter-ruck, and they all buy into it. Win a turnover. Really good from Gloucester, and that's the no arms tackle. You see Liebenberg just trying to go low, losing his footing and rolling his shoulder underneath. Good decision, and an easy 3 points this time for Barton.
It's a counter-up that gets them these 3 points though, isn't it? McGuigan, brilliant. He's really come alive in the last 10 minutes.
Precious points. Edging Gloucester ever closer to the trophy. Some fans just beginning to believe.
Just looking back at the catch-up, you see Cracknell, he gets in a reasonable position, but Cracknell just gets it, McGuigan gets his shoulders underneath him and steps through, stays on his feet. That's what got them the 3 points. Very good play for Cherry and Whites.
Mercer on the gather.
It's been a wave, hasn't it, of Gloucester at Leicester for the last 10 minutes.
Let's go! Falls out.
Anglefield with another excellent clearance. Goodness, the distance that he can get away. So much extra breathing space for everybody.
Time on.
It's not like Ilioni is on in the back row as well now with Harry Wells coming off. So they'll pump Liebenberg up into the second row as a consequence.
It's not like Engelfield's the biggest nine either, is it? It's not like a Sean Perry or a Phillips. Hell of a boot.
Just for 22.
Barton digs it into the 22 where Hassel Collins is lurking. Minutes to the title. Tigers needing something pretty special pretty quickly.
They look shell-shocked, don't they, Tigers? Hassel Collins a little bit slow on the turn there. They put pressure on themselves in the backfield, Tigers as well. Not dealing with Gloucester's kicking game when it lands in the middle of the field particularly well. Can Gloucester conjure up a fatal strike now?
A lot of movement from Gloucester. It's Jordan's ball.
They've shot through the middle.
They're getting a lot more traction on the drive now as well. Tigers coming through.
Leicester. 5.
And Harrow Liebenberg, I think, is close to exasperation at this point.
Penalty count is 14 for Tigers, 5 for Gloucester. They haven't stayed on the right side.
5.
Yeah, you see, he's right.
He's got a moment.
He's not bound in himself.
Just need overall discipline to improve. It's nothing.
Someone's trying to hold him back and pull him back, but
no, I'm not. I'm literally not looking for it.
The ball wasn't ended.
You just need to calm everyone down. You're leaving me nowhere to go. No.
Well, it's symptomatic, isn't it? It's one of those that when you're on a roll and the penalties are going against you, they just tend to keep on coming. And Barton's lining this one up as well. Huge night for this 23-year-old. Taking every last second, but pushing this one. 11 minutes to play. A 17-point margin.
It should be out of sight, shouldn't it? I mean, it would take a minor miracle from Leicester, but those 2 kicks, the game would be put to bed.
Yeah, it's just leaving the door slightly ajar. And there are still options here for Leicester. Still time.
Taken in.
Barton's kick again.
Knock on.
Curl getting up. And the ball loose. Knocked forwards by Gloucester, so
to knock on first.
A Tiger scrum.
Knock on in the air. Yeah. Come in. It's gone that way first. Okay, we love a scrum anyway.
At the moment, it's hard to argue with that. Lewis Ludlow saying what everybody around Kingsholm wearing red and white is feeling. Scrum time right now is a happy place for them. Just through some rough old days, the Gloucester faithful. It's been a very bumpy Premiership season. They're lying 9th in the table. They're well off the pace. Nowhere near the playoffs. But in cup competitions, coming alive. And within 10 minutes of a trophy.
You've got to let him get a bind. Can't hold him off straight arm.
10 out of 10 in cup games this season. 4 from 4 in the Challenge Cup as well. Played Castor in the round of 16 in the first week of April. There's a palpable sense of excitement right now because they know they're very, very close to something a little bit special.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Cracknell from the base. Whiteley puts width on it. To the midfield they go. Pollard wide to Bassett. Good tackle made by Lloyd Evans. Quick ball though for Whiteley. Has to be urgency to everything Leicester do now. Hatherell. And the 2 holes just opening up, and the speed of ball is really stressing the Gloucester defence. They've found the edge here. Shilcock gets it away to Liebenberg. Bounces off that challenge, and Barton stays in the fight, and the touchline is found.
Just as enough. Probably Leicester's best attack, most fluid attack, particularly with the backs. That man Pollard at the heart of it. But Barton, as you said, does enough on the outside. Good fend, lovely offload on Hurl, and then rolls. Creates the speed bump.
But he's trying to wrap, albeit facing the wrong way.
McGuigan again though, over there. His work rate's been really good this last 20 minutes.
Ryan Ackerman comes off after another mountainous shift. So busy in the carry. Jack Clement has taken his place in the Gloucester back row.
You'll see it in the background if it's clear. I've not seen it on the screen. I've not seen it. I don't think they quite know. I don't think they know.
Smiles all round, but just ever so slightly nervous ones nevertheless. It would take a very strange twist of events from here to see the Tigers pulling this from the fire. If you reckon that the last trophy Gloucester won was back in 2015, you'll understand why there's a certain degree of nervousness until the final finish line is crossed. A few running repairs for Lewis Ludlow. Celebrations on hold for the moment. But we do an awful lot for this squad to have tangible evidence of their progress. And they feel that they've really let themselves down in the league across probably a 6-game window that George Skivington isolated. But other than that, and particularly recently, since the turn of the year really, wins over Edinburgh Castron and then Sale in the Premiership, they've really begun to find their form and believe in themselves in a way that they weren't really able to in the early part of the Premiership season.
If they win this, they're looking up, aren't they, at that league table and saying, right, we know the playoffs are gone, but how far can we climb? How much can we give ourselves a springboard and a platform for next season? A couple of new arrivals coming, but they want to be coming into a team that's full of confidence at the end of the season, rather than another second from bottom finish as they had last year. That's a big loss for them, though. That's a big injury. Fortunately, he's walking, but obviously they play Leicester next week at Mattioli Woods, Welford Road.
So Ludlow departs. A rather sorry trudge. He'll just be absolutely devastated to be off the field now. He wants to see this through, the skipper. But Arthur Clark is on in his place. And away they come. Zach Mercer assuming the captaincy. 8 minutes to get this job done. Castle Collins. Shilcock for Bassett, met with a thunderous tackle from Max Llewellyn. Not releasing quick enough for Jack Makepeace though.
No release and not rolling.
Tigers in a hurry. If you wanted somebody calm and composed in your ranks at a time like this to try to see you through troublesome waters, Pollard's probably your man. Ilione feeds Whiteley. Pollard. So Collins shut down in the midfield. Ilione again. To the short side. Cracknell, low slung and hard to bring down, but over the ball they go, and McGuigan just comes off his feet. Oh, there's some...
The chip over Zach.
Decision going against Gloucester, so a shot here for the Tigers. And another little dose of nervousness ripples around Kingsholm Stadium.
Didn't waste too long in the huddle though. Quite a few points to get, not enough time.
Theobald Thomas sends it up where Carter is waiting and Ilione is charging. The Tigers are closing in here. Theobald Thomas again whips it away. Hatherall. Gloucester throwing everything at this defensive effort. The longer they can stretch this out, the better, but Liebenberg has other ideas. Liebenberg for Leicester held over the line.
Not a try. No.
slow it down.
Yeah, slow it down. Yeah. I'm going to put him in the bin anyway.
Yeah, just where that player goes, and he's the one that's holding him up, just for your awareness.
Off we go. Dan, do we need to check it any further, or are we happy?
It's a yellow card.
Just yellow. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine,
Jordan, I believe.
There's 3 players that are also involved. He's just the player that holds it up originally.
Understood.
On his knee.
I'm not sure he knows what's up for.
Tigers very much up against the clock. But a great bit of work close to the line from Hatherall. And another little dart forwards. Leicester, I think, thought they might have got there. Jack Makepeace might need some persuading here.
Dan, this will be the third question. It's clearly in goal, but I've got nothing.
Yeah, as you say, no on-field decision, we'll check here.
Just the timing, actually, that Clement dives in. He seems a little bit late after the bounce on the floor to get underneath it. So, it's something conclusive. That's a try.
Yeah, Jack, I've got a decision for you.
Yeah, that's a try.
Yeah, a try's good.
Cheers, mate.
Well, they got one back, the Tigers. And they got 5 minutes to salvage this. 2 more will drag them to within 10. And we believe it's Hanro Liebenberg who's claimed the score. Still much to be done.
Can they get the field position, Leicester? They almost need to force that penalty first, get those 3 points, and then it makes it a very hair-raising last couple of minutes for Gloucester. Gloucester, on the other hand, have to stay in the Leicester half. Pressure, hold them there. You see them sprinting as many seconds off the clock as they can.
Yeah, they're in absolutely no hurry whatsoever to reach the halfway line. Archie Baines on for Theobald Thomas for the last few minutes here. Gloucester down a man. Leicester needing to find some 80 metres or so. Scott, Shilcock, Bassett. Nice little tip on from Hatherall to Hayes. McGuigan again, just trying to slow things up sufficiently. Pollard off. Very well picked up in the midfield. Singer. 2 tries, remember, in that semi-final against Ealing. Pollard to the short side. Lovely handling from Shilcock. Here's Hassel Collins.
Lots of numbers here. Thorley screaming for help out wide.
And he's having to assess the options in front of him, which don't look too promising here. Ilioni coming at him. Thorley in to try to affect the Jackal. Swiftly to his feet. Whiteley to the line. Here's Hatherall. Man down in the other half of the field wearing Gloucester colours. So Tigers playing with a 2-man advantage effectively. Inside they go to Singer, who tries to break free. Less than 3 minutes remaining. Shilcock driving hard and straight.
Brilliant pick-up from Shilcock. Off his bootstraps.
Here's Baines. Tigers taking this absolutely to the last. Picked up and fed on by Whiteley. Huge tackle coming in from Ford Robinson. Gloucester know their title hopes defend on this defensive effort. Pollard to Hassel Collins. 3 men enveloping him. Atkinson having a little dabble in there. Singer again for Leicester. So many questions being asked of the Gloucester defence. The 19th phase now from the Tigers. Remember, 13 Gloucester players in action. 1 in the bin, 1 down being treated. Ilioni on the outside. Thorley with the tackle and dragging his man into touch. Absolutely critically.
What a brilliant tackle from Thorley. Ilioni saw him coming, so he went a little bit more passive in his carry to try and make sure he stayed infield, ducked into Thorley. What strength from the winger. Watch the duck here, back inside. And he just drags him off the carpet.
Sarah, is there anything how the two got the injury at all in the midfield? Do we have anything?
Say that again, Dan.
Who'd be a skipper on the sideline right now?
Looks like a bad injury from McGuigan. He's been helped from the field. Let's hope he's okay. He's had a very good game.
With your players,
new numbers.
Very, very unfortunate. So Seb Blake on for McGuigan for the remaining 90 seconds. 10 points the difference, but the ball crucially in Gloucester hands at the moment. Blake needing to nail his darts, he's done that, and here's Mercer for Gloucester. They have their destiny in their own hands at this point.
I'm going.
Not now. Not now. No.
Engelfield's kick finds Bassett, and there'll be another counter-attack here. Running into his own man, Barton makes the tackle. And the ball loose.
Still back.
Swept up by Freddie Clark. Gloucester need numbers at the breakdown. Tigers swarming over it, they've got the penalty.
Kick the three.
Take the three. Taken quickly by Scott. Out it comes for Liebenberg. Again in comes Thorley. A huge tackle from the winger. Held back by Cracknell. Scott juggling with it. Former Gloucester man, of course. 20 seconds remaining. Surely too much for the Tigers to do. Falconer Singer on the charge again. Sam Edwards is on at 9 for Leicester. But the game is surely up. Shilcock to Scott. Falconer Singer. And the ball ripped. Ripped clear by Gloucester and sent high over the stands. And Kingsholm erupts. Gloucester are champions. Taken to the edge. But finally, after 9 long years without a trophy, there will be silverware in the Kingsholm cabinet.
Yeah, they're really well, and it's deserved, isn't it? Their second half performance stood them out from what was a dire first 50 minutes. Both sides suddenly realised, actually, if you play some running rugby, you're going to score some tries. And Gloucester found out first. There were some really good performances from their players, particularly in the pack. You look at George McGuigan, unfortunately, let's hope he's okay. I thought he had a fantastic game. Ackerman carried well. Mercer, particular, as well, was a focal point. All these guys really stepped up, but one guy played his part more than most, and that's Cam Jordan. I thought his try was the difference between the two sides. His power around the field, his physicality, really playing against his old club. He wanted to put down a marker, and he certainly has, and that's why he's our Premiership Rugby Cup man of the match.
We said how quiet the first half was, and Leicester looked really comfortable defensively. Finn Theobald Thomas sin-binning just before half-time affected them. That got backed up with another sin-binning, and Gloucester just ripped them apart. Real concerns for Leicester. How when they didn't have all their bodies on the field, how easily they fell apart, how the lack of structure they had defensively. They were right in it at the end. Maybe they needed to play a little bit more like that earlier on in the half. Gave themselves far too much to do, but Gloucester run out. Absolute deserved winners of the Premiership Rugby Cup 2024.
And look at the smiles. Look at the happiness. Lewis Ludlow, very much the conscience of this club at this point. Injured in the latter stages today, but absolutely heroic throughout. And a man around whom George Skivington has built his squad. He knows that he cares more than anybody else in these parts about the fortunes of Gloucester rugby. And you wonder what the effect will be, Austin. It'll be interesting to see over the next few weeks exactly how they attack the end of season, because there's obviously not a playoff place to be won for the Cherry and Whites, but there's a Champions Cup spot. Yeah, and they've lost a lot of less international players on the other side, so they should be very, very fresh. They'll play Leicester next week. Leicester will probably have 7 or 8 internationals back next week, completely different side.
I think for Gloucester they should focus on the Cup now. They've got one trophy, they've been really good in the Challenge Cup. I think they should go for that because the league, probably too much of an ask with the running that they've got.